It's a fascinating location. This is something you would think would only exist.
There are places on Earth that are shrouded with mystery and horror. Places so spooky you would not want to visit alone. You'd get hunted down. In some places, each step is 1 foot in the grave.
Very dangerous, and if you make one mistake, it can have very tragic consequences.
No one is ever safe here. Here are some of the craziest places on Earth that no one should visit.
These are my family. I am family, belong to Buddhist family person. I death, next month become the rats.
A temple in northern India houses more than 15,000 rats inside it, and it is known by the locals as Karni Mata Temple. As you are seeing, these rats are the permanent residents of the place. The rats roam around the temple grounds without much trouble because the locals consider them sacred and worship them. The devotees give holy rats milk to gain their favor, and not just that, as they even drink the same milk afterward due to the belief of it becoming holy.
We are come here in this milk. Drink, no problem.
It may be an unsettling sight to watch for you, but for these people, it is their belief.
And do people come from all over the world to see this place?
All of the world. The world famous temple, all of the world.
Don't get lost here.
When you walk in there, you'll see bones stacked. They're everywhere. You'll have thigh bones stacked up in places. You'll have skulls stacked in other places.
The creepiest place on Earth, the catacombs of Paris. Beneath the streets of France, there are bones of more than 6 million people. It has always intrigued urban explorers and scientists alike. It is no short of a massive grave that is now used as a tourist site. The history of the catacombs is about as tragic as how scary they are. There have been many reports of people hearing voices coming from inside the catacombs. No one really knows what darkness lurks down there. There is also this terrifying video of a man who got lost in the catacombs and was never found.
And all of a sudden,
Haunted Mine.
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
This urban explorer went inside an abandoned mine in Nevada and encountered something so horrifying it shocked him to his core. While exploring the abandoned Horton mine, the explorer noticed the water level was unusually high, which is why he decided not to venture too deep inside.
You can see it really flowing here in front of me, right here, and this coming out here, out the tunnel.
He also felt as if he was being constantly watched, yet he continued to explore the creepy dark mine. Then this happened.
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
One of the rusted chains moved on its own. If there was a wind gust, other chains should have also moved. This obviously scared him, so he quickly left the area.
Yeah, this mine definitely has a very spooky vibe to it.
House of Curses. A terrifying collection of cursed objects are hidden inside a house in Ohio. The homeowners call themselves caretakers of cursed objects. Their house furniture is filled with Ouija boards, creepy masks, and voodoo dolls. These scary objects belong to different cultures across the world. I don't know how they manage to live in their house without being jump scared every second of the day. Everywhere you look, there is something looking back at you. One of the cursed objects is a deer skull that destroys anything around it.
Drove down to Nashville to pick up from a woman who saw this in an antique store. Get back to her office, and almost immediately her employees started getting sick. One of her employees was hit by a car, and then the wall that this was hanging on actually fell down and took half of the building with it.
But I guess since there are other cursed objects here, it doesn't need to. Punishment of grave.
So I am at a cemetery. I don't want to give the location of where I'm at, and I see something very disturbing. I don't know what the problem is, and I don't know what happened here.
What you're seeing here is a mixture of bodily fluids and embalming fluid flowing out of the grave. It is due to a casket failure, but let me tell you of an urban legend. In Pakistan, there is an ancient folklore about a grave that drips the remains of the person inside. It is said that the body of the person inside the grave is in anguish due to some tragedy. That is why red seeps out from the cracks. The soul then ventures out every night prowling the streets, and until its lust for victims isn't quenched, it won't stop.
Blood mixed with embalming fluid, and it's dripping all down.
Crystal Cave. This extraordinary cavern, discovered in 2000, has massive, transparent gypsum crystals that are just unbelievable. Some of these crystals stretch over 36 feet in length. That's the size of an average humpback whale, by the way. And they didn't form overnight. As mineral-rich waters flow through the cave over millennia, they leave behind residue that forms these magnificent structures. And since this is the only cave in the world with such features, it has become a geological marvel for both scientists and tourists.
The interesting thing about the mine here is that this cave is temporary. Once the mine is no longer viable, they're going to turn off the pumps, and this whole cavern will flood yet again, just like it was 500,000 years ago, totally lost to human eyes.
Red River. One of the newest tourist attractions on the planet is found all the way across in Cusco, Peru. A now famous river caught the attention of a lot of people due to its unusual hue. Strangely, this red river is located near the mountain range that has 7 colors. No one knows what is going on in Peru, but it looks like someone is dropping all the shades there. Haunted school. Inside a medical school in Ireland, CCTV footage caught something mysterious. Have a look. Whatever it was did not seem too happy. Maybe something dark and disturbing took place here in the past. Because according to the locals, this is the most haunted school in that city. Was it a ghost, a poltergeist, or an elaborate hoax? You decide. Petrifying waters. Picture a lake so still, so hauntingly beautiful, that it looks like a mirror reflecting the sky. But don't be fooled. Lake Natron in Tanzania is a treacherous trap. Its waters are so alkaline with a pH as high as 12 that they can burn your skin and calcify any creature unlucky enough to fall in. Birds, bats, and even larger animals have been found preserved like statues, their bodies turned to stone by the lake's toxic embrace. For humans, a dip here would mean certain agony. This eerie, otherworldly lake is a stark reminder that beauty can sometimes be not so welcoming. Oceans, mystery.
Both my compasses are out, and I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
What if a place in the ocean could make things vanish without a trace? That's the Bermuda Triangle, a region in the Atlantic Ocean where ships and planes have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Some blame strange weather patterns, while others point to magnetic fields or underwater methane gas. Despite scientific theories, no one knows for sure what happens here. For sailors and pilots, it's a risky zone where navigation tools can fail, and the sea seems to swallow everything whole. Over the years, countless stories have fueled its eerie reputation. The Bermuda Triangle remains one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries, a place where the line between fact and legend blurs. Jungle of danger.
You have lost their lives on this route here.
This is a jungle that is so wild that there aren't even any roads. A lawless stretch of land between Panama and Colombia, called the Darien Gap. This dense jungle is filled with swamps, deadly animals like snakes and jaguars, and armed groups involved in substance trafficking. There are no safe paths, and the terrain is brutal. Many migrants try to cross it in search of a better life, but the journey is fraught with danger. From venomous creatures to unpredictable weather, survival here is a constant battle. The Darien Gap is a place where nature and human danger collide, making it one of the most treacherous spots on Earth. Wild and flowing. Deep in Central Africa lies the Congo River Basin, a place where danger lurks in every shadow. This vast jungle is home to some of the deadliest animals on Earth, including crocodiles, hippos, and venomous snakes. The rivers are unpredictable, with strong currents and hidden hazards. Diseases like malaria are common, and the dense forest is almost impossible to navigate. For anyone brave enough to enter, it's a fight to stay alive. The Congo River Basin is a place where nature rules, and humans are just visitors. It's a harsh reminder of how unforgiving the wild can be. Devil's Pool. You've probably seen photos of people swimming in paradise, but what if that paradise was right on the edge of disaster? Devil's Pool, located right at the edge of Victoria Falls, is a natural wonder with a dark twist. From here, you can stare out at the vast, stunning waterfall below, but get too close to the edge and you risk a deadly fall. Despite the pool's serene appearance, the powerful current and slick rocks make it a dangerous place for swimmers, tempting fate with every stroke. It's easy to see how people are drawn in, captivated by its beauty and the thrill of the danger, but one slip could send you plummeting down 355 feet, crashing into the rocks below. This place is proof that sometimes nature's most beautiful spots are also the most perilous, and the line between adventure and disaster is incredibly thin. Bottom of the ocean. The Mariana Trench, a vast chasm deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, is a place where light never reaches. Stretching over 36,000 feet down, it's the deepest part of the Earth's oceans. At those depths, the pressure is over 1,000 times greater than at sea level, enough to crush almost anything. The conditions here are extreme. Freezing cold, utter darkness, and crushing pressure make it nearly impossible for human life to survive. Despite its forbidding nature, the trench holds mysteries, with bizarre creatures adapted to this harsh environment. Exploring it isn't for the faint of heart. Only a few have ventured this far, and even fewer have returned unchanged. Religiously devoted. What if the river you've always admired is hiding a deadly secret? The Ganges River in India flows with religious significance, but beneath its sacred surface lies a different story. This river, vital to millions, is heavily polluted, carrying sewage, toxic chemicals, and even bodies along its waters. Ganges may just look like any other river from afar. In actuality, it is a breeding ground for dangerous diseases like cholera, making it a risky place to wade. Despite its beauty and importance, the Ganges reminds us that even the most revered places can harbor dangers that are more serious than people in India imagine them to be. She's still alive. The catacombs of the Capuchin monks is a super creepy tourist attraction in Palermo, Italy. It is filled with remains of monks that are placed upright and facing one another. When walking through the hallway, visitors have said they feel watched by the hollow eyes of the ancient monks. There are thousands of bones inside the crypt, remains of men, women, and horrifyingly even children. It's like the set of a horror film. The most famous mummy is probably the girl named Rosalia Lombardo. Some claim to have seen her opening her eyes. Snake Island. An island off the coast of Brazil is not only filled with trees, but many venomous snakes. It's practically impossible to take 2 steps without encountering a snake. And they aren't only on the ground. In short, they are everywhere, even hiding beneath rocks. These slithering critters have inhabited this island for more than 100 years. The craziest part is, no one knows how they even got here. Much research has been done, yet no concrete answer exists. But one thing is for certain, you do not want to be stranded here. Becoming a man. In Brazil's Sateremawe tribe, the journey to manhood isn't for the faint of heart. It's all about the bullet ant gloves there. Teenagers willingly plunge their hands into gloves teeming with bullet ants, whose sting is said to be as painful as a gunshot. The ritual is a rite of passage, and the boys go through this coming-of-age type experience multiple times. The sensation reportedly lasts for hours, and some people even hallucinate during the experience. This is what separates men from the boys in this part of the world. Down under a spider. Australia is a place filled with creepy crawlers, but oh, this is new. In Victoria, Australia spiders emerged from within the grounds and slowly took over the bushlands. Dubbed as spider apocalypse, many areas were ravaged by thick white blankets of spider webs. It is absolutely terrifying to look at because no matter where you look, there are spiders crawling around. Just gives you the creeps, doesn't it? I guess Halloween came early in Australia. Garden follows you. Witness the most terrifying garden on Earth as if Medusa herself made it. Perikkala, Finland. Less than 1 kilometer from the Russian border has one of the strangest and creepiest art displays known to man. The sculpture park of Veijo Rönkkönen is a place that you would not want to visit in the middle of the night. With sculptures that eerily resemble human beings, it's enough to give anyone the fright of their life. There are deformed faces, an almost uncanny valley feeling to every sculpture there. Just look at this sculpture. Look at her eyes as they follow you. Bubbling land. Keep this video away from the government. In the middle of the Sahara Desert, a peculiar sight was captured that showed oil bubbling out of the sand, like a geyser. Even the locals were astonished because they had never seen anything like this before. I think the sand was so hot, and the temperature below rose, causing the oil to literally boil. Ghost balloon. A staff member at a children's hospital in Argentina recorded a balloon moving on its own. Now, before you say, maybe it was a draft or an invisible string, watch the video first. Not only does it follow her through the hallway, but enters the room as well. Since it was a children's hospital, could it be a ghost bringing balloons for the children, or is something sinister going on there? Croc Fest. In Karachi, Pakistan, the Sheedi community hosts a crocodile festival. Yes, it's as wild as it sounds. The event is steeped in spiritual belief, as these ancient reptiles are considered sacred and thought to bring good fortune. Just take a look at how they are preparing the massive reptile and parading it like a guest of honor. The ceremony involves offering meat and sweets to the crocs, while the bravest even pat them in reverence. If you're ever in the area, it's definitely something worth checking out. Just keep a safe distance from those crocs. Glowing beach. I take back what I said earlier. This is one of those places that everyone should see at least once in their lifetime. And we are in luck because this peculiar phenomena is found in multiple locations. All of this is possible due to a rare natural process called bioluminescence that allows living things to glow at night. When plankton, which are bioluminescent beaches on the shore, and light scatters through them, it creates such a spectacle. Definitely should be on your travel list. Strange shore. What ended up on this rocky shore, and why is that man trying to get it out? In an unknown location, a long black creature-like thing washed up after it got stuck on the rocks. It may look like Kraken got its tentacles trapped here, but actually, these are kelps. Black kelps to be exact, and the man is trying to get some of them as they are quite helpful, but it sure does look like the remains of an ancient being. Monkey buffet. In the charming town of Lopburi, Thailand, you'll find one of the most bananas festivals ever, literally. Every year, the town lays out a smorgasbord of fruits, meat, and even candies for thousands of local monkeys. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet for monkeys. Why? Well, locals believe that these primates bring good luck and prosperity. Plus, it's a thank you gesture for sharing their habitat. Tourists gather to watch these monkeys feast like kings, snapping photos and chuckling at the chaos. It's a real monkey town there. Gravity Falls.
For a picture and then you can
This place should really not exist. No, seriously, it defies the laws of physics. A place in Santa Cruz, California called the Mystery Spot has been a tourist attraction for a really long time, and its history is also quite bizarre. The cabin was built in 1940 by a man who was warned of a landslide. Ever since that day, no such natural incident has taken place, and many speculate that this area has supernatural abilities. It has been reported that your height changes inside the cabin. A crazy place filled with mysteries.
It's hard to walk. It is a little nauseous.
Jungle anomaly. The more you look at it, the less it makes sense. What is even happening here? Somewhere in the northwestern part of the Amazon jungle, a drone captured a strange footage. It shows a large anaconda that had a fresh meal, and whatever that meal was, had to be quite large itself because look at that bulge. Share this video with your friends and ask what they think of it. camel wrestling. Ever heard of camel wrestling? In Turkey, it's not just folklore, but a celebrated tradition. Decked in vibrant saddles, these humpbacked athletes engage in neck-to-neck combat, captivating both locals and tourists. Just take a look at them ferociously going at it. It sure takes a toll on these animals. The welfare organizations have also sparked their concerns about it. Whether you find it fascinating or unsettling, Turkey's Camel Wrestling Festival displays how diverse and different traditions are across the world. Invisible Line. The Rhone and Arve rivers meet in Geneva, Switzerland, making it a natural landmark, but also historical. These two rivers meet yet do not mix, which is similar to this place where fresh water meets seawater but doesn't mix. But going back to the historical significance of these two, during the Roman Empire, the Romans built a bridge over the rivers as an important trading route, and the area has been inhabited for thousands of years by different civilizations. Lost City. Most of us are familiar with the story of Atlantis, a city that got lost under the sea. Many explorers have tried to find it but kept on failing. Maybe that has changed now. A lost kingdom was found a year ago off the coast of Japan's Ryukyu Islands. That hints at an ancient Japanese civilization that got lost under the sea. With definite structures, parallel formations, it is quite obvious that some intelligent life created all of this. Unfortunately, not much is known about this civilization, as being underwater is not a great way to remain on the radar. Earth's Furnace. Imagine a place where the air shimmers like a mirage, and the ground feels like it's melting beneath your feet. Welcome to Death Valley, USA, one of the hottest places on Earth. Temperatures here soar past 130 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 degrees Celsius, turning this desert into a relentless oven. The heat is so extreme that it can fry electronics, melt tires, and push the human body to its breaking point. Yet, amidst this barren landscape, life persists. Tiny creatures and hardy plants adapt to survive. But for humans, a single misstep here can mean the end. Stay hydrated, stay shaded, or risk becoming another cautionary tale in this unforgiving wilderness. Ghost Town. Step into the Chernobyl exclusion zone and you'll find a frozen moment in time. This area in Ukraine, the site of the 1986 nuclear disaster, remains one of the most radioactive places on Earth. Abandoned buildings, rusted playgrounds, and empty streets tell the story of a community forced to flee overnight. Radiation levels here can still be lethal and the silence is haunting, yet nature has begun to reclaim the land, with wildlife thriving in the absence of humans. Chernobyl is a stark reminder of humanity's fragility and the enduring power of nature. Poison Ivy's Garden.
This is a trope of belladonna. 4 berries are enough to kill a child.
Hidden away in the living beauty of Alnwick Garden, UK, lies a place that could be your last mistake, the Poison Garden. This isn't your typical garden of roses and daisies. It's filled with the most dangerous plants known to man. Hemlock, nightshade, and other deadly species thrive here, each carrying its own dark secret. The plants may look innocent, but they're capable of poisoning, paralyzing, and even killing with just a small touch or sniff. Visitors are warned not to touch anything, as the plant's toxic power is very real. It's a garden where nature's beauty masks its lethal potential, reminding us that the world's most alluring places often come with hidden dangers.
It's phototoxic, so it will burn your skin and give you blisters.
Road less traveled. The youngest road in Bolivia is as terrifying as it sounds. Nicknamed Death Road, it's considered one of the world's most dangerous routes. Winding through treacherous mountain terrain, the road is narrow, often covered in thick fog, and surrounded by steep cliffs that plunge thousands of feet. With no guardrails to protect travelers, the twists and turns, combined with unpredictable weather, make every moment on this road feel like a gamble. Though it's less traveled now due to a safer alternative, it still carries the chilling legacy of its deadly reputation. Anyone brave enough to drive or bike here is constantly reminded that danger lurks around every corner. Haunted Island. They're all over. Off the coast of Mexico, there's an island so creepy it could haunt your nightmares. The Island of the Dolls. Abandoned and eerie, this island is filled with decaying, lifeless dolls hanging from trees, each one with its own twisted backstory. The dolls were placed by the island's previous inhabitant, who believed they were protecting the island from evil spirits, especially the spirit of a drowned girl who had been found nearby. Over time, the dolls' faces grew weathered and grotesque, their eyes staring lifelessly into the air. Visitors claim the dolls move and whisper as if the spirit of the girl is still watching. The island's unsettling atmosphere makes it a chilling destination for those brave enough to visit.
He found the body of a girl floating along this river.
Haunted Fortress. Stepping into the Tower of London is like stepping into a chilling page of history. This historic castle, built over 1,000 years ago, has seen its fair share of gruesome executions, torture, and ghostly encounters. It's said that the spirits of Anne Boleyn, beheaded here in 1536, still roam the grounds, while the tragic ghosts of the princes in the tower linger, their fate a mystery to this day. Visitors claim to hear whispers in the dark and feel the presence of unseen forces, whether it's the flicker of a candle in a dim corridor or a cold chill sweeping past. This fortress is a reminder of England's dark past and its lingering spirits. Where horror lives. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado might seem like a charming getaway, but it's also the birthplace of one of the scariest stories ever told. Stephen King's The Shining. Guests who stay here often report strange happenings, ghostly apparitions, eerie sounds echoing through the halls, and cold spots that seem to appear out of nowhere. Some say they've seen the spirits of former guests wandering the corridors, while others hear faint whispers from the hotel's past. Whether you're a fan of the paranormal or just looking for a spooky escape, the Stanley Hotel never fails to deliver a chilling experience that will leave you wondering what's real and what's not.
Look. Oh, you see?
Today's open discussion is perhaps the worst place, but only if you're an American soldier. In the dense jungles of Vietnam, American soldiers found themselves facing a constant, invisible threat. The enemy didn't always fight with artillery. Instead, the Vietnamese perfected a terrifying form of guerrilla warfare that used traps. Simple, yet deadly. Hidden pits, sharp spikes, and tangled wire could turn a simple walk through the jungle into a nightmare. Soldiers never knew when the ground beneath them might give way or when a trap would spring. What made it worse was that the soldiers were often too confident, underestimating their enemy. They expected conventional battles, but Vietnam's fighters had a different way of winning. The constant threat of hidden dangers wore down the American troops. The dense terrain, combined with the surprise of these traps, turned Vietnam into an almost invisible battleground, where danger was never far away and survival depended on constant vigilance. The enemy didn't need to be everywhere, they simply needed to be unseen.